What's going on, y'all? It's Drew. We're back with another NBA video, and oh my god, the Western Conference is really starting to freak me out a little bit. This last week of the season is actually going to be crazy, and there are some storylines I want to talk about, some matchups I want to talk about, some seeding stuff that I'm trying to talk about. So let's just get into this one. If you guys like this video, make sure to like and subscribe. We're trying to hit 1,000 subscribers at some point, and make sure to follow the Twitch and the Discord down below. I'm live every now and then on Twitch. The Discord, we're just trying to grow that thing. And let's just get into this one, man. Alright, so I wanted to make a video about the Western Conference. We're going to breeze through some things in the East first, because there is some little seeding stuff in there that's vaguely interesting. Just some little nuggets. Mainly Milwaukee and Detroit battling for this 5-6 matchup. Got a baseball series to end the year. They play each other back-to-back. I believe games 81 and 82, actually. I think that'll pretty much decide who gets those seeds. If Milwaukee can get the 5 seed, then they stay out of Boston's side of the bracket in the second round, which would be kind of nice if they want to save face and convince themselves that they can actually, make a run without any Dame and without any depth. I wouldn't pick either of these teams to beat Indiana in the first round, so I don't really think it matters, but I do think both those teams are going to be trying for that, because I think Boston's definitely a little bit more threatening at this point than Cleveland. Other than that, I guess the Knicks could also try to do the same thing, maybe tank to get the 4 seed. It seems pretty unlikely that would happen, but it is a possibility. Jalen Brunson does need to hit his 65 game limit, so they will probably have to bring him back somewhere in that span, so that's probably not likely. Other than that, though, pretty much the rest of the East is wraps. I mean, the Sixers managed to tank their way, to guaranteed top 5 odds in the lottery. Pretty much all the teams at the bottom of the play-in, they're all equally bad, so I don't really think it's worth covering any of them. So let's just talk about the Western Conference. So the first thing that really jumps off the paper when you look at the West right now, and for the record, I'm recording this on April the 8th. The Tuesday, so tonight there are going to be some games that probably change this, but right now there is a 4-team tie between 4 and 8 in the Western Conference, or is it 5 and 8? 5 and 8, excuse me. Denver has a half-game lead on all these teams, but the Clippers, the Warriors, the Timberwolves, and the Grizzlies all have 46 wins and 32 losses, so they're neck and neck. They're really trying to get out of the basement of this conference, of this playoff bracket. But honestly, I think the one thing that I like about the West is I think seeds 2 through 8 could all very easily make the Western Conference Finals. I think all these teams are pretty evenly matched. I think it's very matchup based, and I think coaching is going to be a big swing factor for all these teams. Most of these teams are fortunately very fucking well coached, other than Memphis, who I don't know. I don't think anyone knows. I guess before we start talking about these playoff teams and their schedule coming up, we can just quickly talk about the rest of the teams who are still in playoff contention, like teams 9 through 11. Starting at 11, the Phoenix Suns. And at number 10, the Dallas Mavericks. They actually got Derek Lively back this week, which is really cool. I didn't think that was going to happen. I think he broke his foot, and he's still he's back in 3 months. Just absolutely crazy. I don't really know why they're bringing him back, because they're just going to be cannon fodder for OKC if they manage to fluke a win against Sacramento and Memphis back-to-back. Spoiler alert, I do think Memphis is going to stay in the play-in. Then Sacramento at 9, again, just a cannon fodder team for OKC in the absolute best case scenario. Wouldn't pick either of those teams to make it far in the play-in, though, as in to get 2 wins. Then the current 8th seed is the Memphis Grizzlies. They're going to have their work cut out for them if they want to get out of the play-in. They've got the Nuggets and the Timberwolves left on their schedule. The Timberwolves are currently the 7th seed, I believe. That matchup is going to be an absolute war, because those teams are kind of fighting for the same seeding right now. Memphis has the tiebreaker over Minnesota and Denver already. So if they can get ahead of them in the standings, if they can beat the Wolves, then they're probably going to stay out of that 8th seed, which is going to be really, really valuable, because again, avoiding OKC is everything in the Western Conference, because I don't think any of these teams can beat OKC, barring disaster. But yeah, they're going to have their work cut out for them, assuming the Nuggets can get Jamal Murray back. They're a tough team. The Wolves are a tough team. They have a game against the Mavericks, who are going to be scrappy. They're going to be fighting. They've got Derek Lively back. And then they do have a free win against the Hornets. So I think most likely for the Memphis Grizzlies, they're probably going to end up 2-2 splitting this. If they get that Nuggets win, if they get that Wolves win, that's huge. They could go 3-1. They could maybe go 4-0, but I think most likely they're going to stay in the play-in and stay at the 8th seed. Then at the 7, you've got the Minnesota Timberwolves. Obviously, they've got that game against Memphis. Then they've got 2 free wins, in my opinion, Brooklyn and Utah. That's really, really helpful at this point in the season. They're pretty much the only team left in the West that has multiple just completely free garbage, trash teams on their schedule. They've also got Milwaukee left, which is going to be a tough out, although no Dame, that's also kind of volatile. And so I think Minnesota's in a pretty damn good spot to wrap up the season. They could go 3-1. They could very easily go 4-0 if they get that Memphis win, much more easily than I think Memphis could. So I think Minnesota's in a really, really good spot. We'll talk about where I think they're going to land in the standings later. Then you've got Golden State, who I believe is the 6th seed right now. Yes, Golden State is the 6th seed. I think they have the tiebreaker over Memphis and Minnesota, which is really nice. They are also, in my opinion, just straight up better than those teams. Obviously, they've been a juggernaut since they got Jimmy Butler. And so they've got the Clippers left on their schedule. That's a tough matchup. But Blazers, Spurs, Suns, I think they could very easily beat all of those teams. I've got Golden State going 3-1 down the stretch and getting to 49 wins, which is better than Memphis probably, and maybe better than Minnesota, though it doesn't matter since they've got the tiebreaker over them. So I do think Golden State is going to place ahead of both of those teams. Then your current 5 seed is the LA Clippers. Clippers have a tiebreaker over Golden State and Memphis. I guess it's kind of weird because they're not ahead of Minnesota in the standings, even though they have the same record as them. I'm not really sure how it's going to shake out with the Clippers. They're going to have their work cut out for them. They've got Houston and Golden State down the stretch here, and Sacramento, which is not a free win either. So I do think the Clippers are going to have their work cut out for them if they want to get that 5th seed, if they want to try and fight for home court. I really think the only team out of all these guys that has a shot at home court is Golden State. Denver only has 3 games left on their schedule to make up ground. Yeah, Denver has the tiebreaker over Golden State, so Golden State really has to they actually have to just vault Denver in the standings straight up, but I do think they have the best chance to get home court outside of the Nuggets. Then if we actually look at the Nuggets schedule coming up, they've got the Rockets and the Grizzlies. Neither of those are free wins. And then Sacramento. They've only got 3 games left on their schedule, but I think they've got a chance to go 2-1, or they can go 0-3 and end up in the play-in. I'm pretty sure that's the worst case scenario for them. I think the lowest they can place is 7, which is obviously terrifying if you're a Nuggets fan, but this West is so packed that if Jamal Murray is not healthy right now, the Nuggets are kind of cooked. They're actually kind of fucked if they can't get some health, they can't get some momentum. And honestly, the rest of these teams have a lot of momentum. The Clippers have been ramping up Kawhi for the last couple weeks. He's been fantastic lately. He just won Western Conference Player of the Week. Golden State's been a juggernaut lately. Minnesota has been amazing lately. Memphis has been, whatever, but I wouldn't put as much on them. I wouldn't put as much stock in them as I would these other teams. But yeah, Denver's going to have a really tricky time, I think, sort of contending with the rest of these teams and getting to that, 2-1 record to sort of ensure them home court in the first round. Then if you look at these upper seeds, the Lakers, I believe, they've got a pretty decent schedule left. Mavericks and Blazers, that should be 2 wins. That Mavericks game is going to be crazy. We've got Luka Doncic coming back to Dallas, and it actually has playoff implications. Just a wild turn of events for both of those teams. Then OKC, that's probably going to be a loss. They did just beat the brakes off of them, but I think OKC should rebound with a win. And then they've got a very, very important matchup with Houston to maybe decide that 2 seed. But honestly, I think the Lakers are probably just going to stay where they are most likely. And the Rockets are probably going to stay where they are as well. After some deliberation, I sort of came up with my own interpretation of what I think the playoffs standings are going to be in the West. So at number 1, I got OKC because, that's obvious. Then at 2, I'm going to keep Houston where they are. They've got high upset odds in the first round, but I think they can very easily beat any of these teams as well. They're not to be fucked with, and their defense it's really, really gritty, and this team is going to be a very annoying team to play in the first round no matter who you are. Then I'm going to have the Lakers stay at the 3 spot. They can conditionally get to that 2, and they've got some really interesting matchup stuff. They've got a lot of size on their wings which I think they can use to sort of bother a lot of these teams that think they can punish them inside. I don't really think the Lakers are going to have much of a size issue against most of these teams, except maybe the Nuggets, who actually do have a dominant center. A lot of these teams honestly like to run a bit smaller, so I think the Lakers are actually in a pretty damn good spot if they keep running this insane small ball group. Then I'm going to have the Nuggets and the Warriors at 4 and 5 respectively. That's just going to be an absolute war of a first round series. I would love to see that. Obviously, we need Jamal Murray to actually be healthy for that series to, really have a lot of juice. But, Jokic is an aircraft carrier. Like, he's literally just bench pressing this team every night at this point. So I'm going to be very interested to see if that series happens. I would love to see that one in the first round. Then Minnesota, I think, is going to get out of the play-in and get stuck at 6. I think they've got a really fun matchup against the Lakers in the first round. You've got Anthony Edwards versus LeBron. Last year you had Ant versus KD. It's just like new generation versus old generation every single time with Anthony Edwards, I guess. Really, really fun stuff there. I think the Timberwolves have a very high chance to upset the Lakers as well. They've got some good matchups for Luka. They've got a lot of size that they can throw at them. They've got obviously probably the second best player in the series and a lot of depth, a good enough amount of depth at least. Nickeil Alexander-Walker's really come into his own, so that's going to be super interesting. Then I've got the Clippers at 7, the Grizzlies at 8, and the Mavs at 9 to round things out. The Clippers, I think, could very easily get to like as high as 4. Their defense is fantastic. Zubac is going to be a very interesting candidate for DPOY this year. And they've got a bunch of other good defensive, scrappy veterans. These guys have all been in the playoffs before. So I think out of all these teams, they're probably one of the most experienced. So I think they could give a team like Houston a lot of problems, actually. Then Memphis at the 8. I mean, they've just got injuries. They have a new coach. They have really no momentum, although I think they've won their last 2 games. So if they can rally off like 3, if they can win their next 4 games, like I don't really see a reason why Memphis can't contend with the rest of these teams. But they need to stay healthy and they need to like actually get that momentum or they're kind of dead in water. The Mavericks at 9 doesn't really matter. The Kings at 10 doesn't really matter either. So that's how I think the Western Conference is going to shake out. It is a crazy conference, insanely competitive. The parity between these teams is absolutely wild. Unfortunately, I think OKC is just better than all of them, though. So I think they're going to end up in the finals pretty much no matter what. But that's my take, and if you guys like this video, make sure to like and subscribe. We're trying to hit 1,000 subscribers at some point. I'm going to try and post more once I'm done with exams, and let me know what content you guys want to see during the playoffs, during the off season. I'm going to make some awards videos soon. We're going to do a bunch of fun shit over here, so if you guys enjoy the content, stick along for the ride, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Cue that music.